Hey guys, I'm the Indie Break. I'm going to be doing a video on an interesting idea of monotone decks. The game concept of ponies implies the fact that you'd have to use two or more colors in your deck so that you could fill the requirement on your own problem that is a non-base color. So there are multiple ways you could get around this. First one being locking down your own problem so your opponent can't solve it either, meaning that he won't get points off a problem that you can't complete. Using stuff like Timberwolf, which makes your opponent play two more to play cards to this problem, and pretty much stalling them off quite well, and making it hard for them just to get to the problem early in the game, really helps stall off your opponent. Also cards like Wild Manicore, which flip two cards instead of one during face-offs, making them just harder to beat in general, also fare well as a way to block your opponent. And also this would run well something like Vision of the Future, so you can hit heavier numbers by, manipulating your draws. You can also use stuff like Parasprite Swarm, because if you get this thing out, your opponent's not likely to go near that problem until it runs out, because the fact that it can hit 8 power and frighten all your opponent's friends, that's pretty powerful, and it's going to be a scary thing to deal with, and your opponent's definitely not going to want to try to challenge it if they know they can't beat it. Also, another way of going about this is running a small number of no requirement cards, and then using something like Action Shot to give them extra 4 power so they can fill the requirement. So you can use something like Flitter, which has 1 cost, 1 power. You play this, it becomes a 5 power, and it fills a canceled free requirement, allowing you to fill your own problems if necessary. Also, stuff like Octavia you can use to lock down your own problems. So it just helps because your opponent's going to need +2 to move to a problem, and if you've got a Timberwolf, they'll need +1 to play. It works really well as a combo just to kind of stop your opponent from doing anything here. Also, you can use something like Screwy, Barky Mad. Your opponent needs at least 3 characters to confront the problem, so it's just kind of making it harder on them in general if they want to do anything to you. So you're just kind of stopping them in general. Also, you can use cards like Focus Study, which your opponent can't play cards with 2 power or less to this problem, which pretty much means your opponent has to move things if they want to move anything. So it's just harder for them in general to solve the problem, because they can only play something with 3 power or more. And you can use something like Bright Bulb to send their problems back when they try to move it, so it's hard for them to move cards either to the problem. And using back where you began can also be beneficial because it just gets things away from where you want them to be and kind of puts your opponent in the mindset that they shouldn't go back there. Also, something like using the problem Pony Nap in your deck. It's when someone confronts the problem, they frighten one of their own friends at the problem. So it kind of makes your opponent think twice before playing cards to this problem, and kind of just makes them hesitate, so it's not we're not going to go ahead and try to complete it. So overall, Monotone is definitely an interesting idea. It's probably would work very well. I mean, especially if you just run some villains in it too, your opponent's just going to have trouble trying to complete one problem. And if you're going to focus on actually beating the troublemakers, you're going to be getting points off the other problems. So I mean, overall, it's a pretty good idea and it works really well. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more videos, and see ya.